ICE is out of control, here's what to do about it. In a shocking week, federal immigration enforcement agents took the lives of two men, Joan Sebastian Guerrero, 25, a Colombian who was shot in Maine, and Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, 52, a Mexican who was gunned down in Houston. Those two tragedies, which gathered criticism and outrage across the country, are part of a pattern the Trump administration has handled with the same shrug as it dealt with the deaths of Alex Preti, Rene Good and Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in other cities. The response has been one of defiance, death detailing, and an utter indifference to the humanity of the people who were killing themselves sedis because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. After the Guerrero case, the Department of Homeland Security issued statements that contradicted what video evidence and eyewitness accounts showed. And yet the agency kept pushing the synthesized tactics that had already caused both those murders plus other shootings, beatings, and abuse. What are those tactics? They involve aggressively pursuing people in their cars, boxing them in the lanes, ramming them, forcing them off the road, putting agents in the path of moving vehicles. They mask themselves and conduct traffic stops in unmarked vehicles, then fire their weapons into moving cars. On top of the danger, the language the administration uses when talking about immigrants has been dehumanizing and, on some occasions, overtly racist, a breach no democratic society should accept. In response to Guerrero's death, the department announced it had paused most traffic stops for immigration enforcement. A day later, President Trump reversed that decision, telling the agency to go back to pushing the traffic stop model. That reversal is exactly the kind of persuasive pushback that the agency's dangerous operations rely on. The White House has told officers that they're essentially above the law and can do what they want, prolonging the cycle of unnecessary harm and death. These tragedies were foreseeable, inevitable once you see the agency's track record. For over 22 years, the write-up writer Radley Balko has covered policing, and he says this is the first time he has ever witnessed a government agency demonstrate its disregard for justice, rights, and the rule of law in the manner DHS and ICE have done in the last 18 months. They've shown a blatant lack of interest in truly investigating possible wrongdoing by agencies, a lack of willingness to prosecute wrongdoing, and a deliberate unwillingness to share evidence with local police departments and prosecutors attempting to work within the law. What is the solution? First, recognize that the policy guided by Trump is similar to a policy that per se is about terrorizing immigrants. Congress must step up and decisively halt the campaign, be more oversight than the role ICE is doing every day. Those who want to protect laws ineffective can. Congress must put a stop to the agency telling its officers that they can push racism and shoot into moving cars. If it remains that way, the policy is just a re-education, a reckless use of power. Congress can create an accountability framework that has independent and that is complied with. Finally, let's reinforce one phrase that is repeated often in the new, streaming words and how this would gather that integrity by inclusion. That would be a legislature that passes statutes forcing ICE agents to turn over data and backing the reports that the board with Daphne views are also reaping what they do leave all witnesses. That is how we protect democracy fortuum. Thank you for listening. In this episode we focused on ICE's violence against immigrants and permanent KR. If you want to follow these people and come help give nature, check our resources next week. Until next time, keep your ears open and keep fighting for just rights.